What up, YouTube? You can't stop trading and investing with your boy James E. Today is Monday, Monday the 7th, June 7th. Haven't made a video since last month. I'll get into that. Just, the first red month I had on my journey. Just adjusting to these current market conditions and how my previous plays kind of just died off all month. Didn't really get no action in my process of how I've been capitalizing this whole year. So I had to switch it up, traded some Nasdaqs. So I want to get into UONE. That was a previous runner from last year around this time, and winded up swinging it. I've been making money on it for the last 4 or 5 days since June 2nd. And it's been working, man, just adjusting to what the market is giving me. So I want to get into all that. But before I do, man, please click that like button. Please subscribe. It is very much appreciated. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy that likes to research and analyze anything I find interesting in the stock market. And I like to share that with anybody willing to listen. So that being said, man, let's just do this. So UONE, first of all, before I get into this beautiful, massive move, as you can see right here, a nice gradual climb. I kind of want to get into this a little bit. So as you can see on the second, if you guys haven't watched my previous videos, please go and do so. But May winded up just being my first red month, mostly due to personal scheduling, personal issues for me not being able to day trade, dealing with some psychological aspects on that for personal health, but also the fact that my plays just died off. So May was kind of like a test run of, I'm up a lot of capital. I was up over 1,000% profit on the year so far. So that told me, hey, man, that gives me some wiggle room to, take some chances, explore new ideas and new things. One trade particular, it was pretty much all my loss from that month. If I would have just stuck to my process, I would have probably been down like 6K. But that one trade was added of another minus 14K. And I've talked about it in previous videos. You could go look it up. But man, just had to find my footing. So if you guys watch, you guys know I'm an OTC trader. I mostly trade OTC market penny stocks. But that market is kind of slowed down, man. There's not real action going on. There's no real action like the way I've been capitalizing since January, February, March, April. All those were amazing months. And just to give you a perspective of that, here's my 2021 trading calendar. I just track whether it's green or red. And as you can see, January only had 5 red days in all of January. February only had 4 red days in all of February. March had 6 red days in all of March. April, it wasn't until the final last week of April when I noticed a shift. As you can see, three red days in the last week of April, and then going into the first week of May, 3 red days. Second week, 3 red days, 3 red days. So the red was overtaking the green. I started noticing the shift, so I knew there was something I had to do. So May was pretty much just like my test run. I was trying to swing. I was trying different things, dipping into Nasdaqs a little bit. Just plays that I normally wouldn't. So it's just like a test run. So I didn't really record any videos because it was just me playing with the market, trying to figure something out. Because I want to show you guys process, man, and process is everything. So once I figured out, figured out my adjustment, as you can see, June, now green, 4 green days in a row, and that's due to adjusting. And the majority of it is all from UONE. Traded it here, and traded it the next day and the next day, basically just swinging it and realizing, how I could capture these moves from Nasdaq, because I've been struggling with Nasdaqs, and, video lessons truly help with that, man. So it's very important to record your data, and that's what I do. So as you can see, first of all, I closed off my position here with a $1,300 profit for the day. So overall, since June 2nd till today, I've made roughly somewhere around $2,500 just swinging UONE and sticking to it. So I noticed when it came to OTC markets, that if you really go back and watch from the beginning of my journey, that with the OTCs, when it's a hot play, I just stuck to that one hot play and just stuck to it, figured out how the pattern worked, and just traded it day by day until it just completely died out of volatility. Now Nasdaqs have been very nice. I mean, look, we have a 300% runner here, 75%, 60%, 47%, 43%. We're having these nice, huge runners compared to OTCs. I'm not really seeing that. So originally on the 2nd, that's this day right here, is the first day I seen this. We had this nice, massive run. First of all, this stock has history of running. So let's just get into that. And that's what caused the catalyst to run, because it talked about, we had the news catalyst come out of right here. Last year around the same time, we went from $1.80 to $54 in just a matter of 5 days, which is amazing. And so that news came out on this day saying, hey, we're going into this June, they called it Juneteenth. We're going into Juneteenth, where this thing had a previous runner last year. So that was that catalyst that propelled it. So this was the day, multi-day breakout, seen it here, held over the breakout. This was the day that I said, okay, man, I want to be involved in this. And again, man, just from understanding the way I trade, OTCs and Nasdaqs are completely differently, all right? They're completely different. So usually on an OTC, man, I'd go straight for the breakout. But I've done that with Nasdaqs, okay? So going straight for the breakout on a Nasdaq doesn't necessarily work the same way as it does with an OTC. So my mentality is telling me, okay, when this breaks a certain level, as it did here, that's when I want to buy, because that's what I'm used to. That's exactly what I'm used to in the market for trading OTCs. Now with Nasdaqs, it's different. They're extremely volatile. So anyway, I seen this run, and I didn't want to buy it because just due to my history of trading Nasdaqs, I always get bit in the ass every time I try to buy a breakout and it drops off. So I've been noticing that, you know, that pattern of consistency with me in my own trading when it comes to trying to trade Nasdaqs. I try to enter the same points I would at an OTC stock, but they're completely different. So I said, you know what, I'm going to kick back and watch this. So as it dropped off here, then I noticed this consolidation and a slow grind. So this is the day I first got in. And it was funny because the first trade I took was an L. So I overnighted it. I didn't want to wake up pre-market because I don't really necessarily like trading pre-market. I've done it in the past. Never really worked out for me. So I just waited till about 6 o'clock, came to the market, looked at it. I'm gapped down. So now I'm down. I'm like, okay, it looked like it was going up. And again, a similar pattern you would see in OTC. If I seen this in OTC, best believe this thing is going to go and retest this 13.3 high. You know, but this isn't OTC, it's Nasdaq's. And then sure enough, it dropped off. And that's what I'm saying. Like Nasdaq's, I'm noticing within my trading, I just have to be more patient with Nasdaq's and buy the dips instead of buying the rips. So, you know, it dropped off. I sold it. Winded up taking this first day $450 loss. Then it dropped off, and I said, you know what? Every time I've noticed this, just through collecting data, through watching my own videos, okay? It's important to collect numerical data. It's important to collect visual data and keep it all stored. Rewatch it. Watch the shit over and over. Watch your behavioral patterns. Watch your thought process when you're thinking, like, why am I entering this? Why am I exiting this? So, you know, I keep all that shit stored up here. So I said, man, every time this happens, it drops off and then it takes off. So I said, you know what? I believe in that thesis, so I'm buying it. Because every Nasdaq that I tried in May, that's exactly what happened. I would buy it at a level of breaking, and it would just tank. I would take that loss, and then it would rip without me. And I've noticed that. Probably that happened to me about 5 times last month. I'm just testing the waters. So since I noticed that, I said, cool, I'm going to repurchase this. Repurchase it down here. Took off. Winded up going from negative 450 to plus 116. And then it just kept going. Then I held it through here, made another 400 or 500, holding it through there, sold it, then repurchased it again, and then sold it into here. So, you know, it just winded up being amazing. And as you can see, you could see the pattern right here. The best one displayed is the 10-day, 30-minute chart. This is where you can see the beauty of it. Because you see this pop, huge pop here, then a huge drop, then kind of pops back, then drops hard, pops hard, drops hard, and then slowly grinds. So, man, I was just swinging this thing, man. So, for the last, since June 2nd till today, today was my biggest one. I actually sold, I was holding 500 shares, and I sold it into this pop this morning, damn near at the top. And so I winded up with a $772 profit. And then when it came down here and I noticed it basing, as you can see the consolidation here. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. It was in this little one. So right here in the morning, when I noticed this and it started climbing back, I bought back in 300 shares. I just wanted to scale in slowly just in case if it dropped off again, I was going to buy some more. And then I sold it into this pot, damn near reached this high for another $600 and something profit. So overall, I winded up with $13.22 profit on the day to close out my UONE swing for a little under $2,500 profit for the last, 3 or 4 trading days, which caught me in a good groove, man. It's just focusing now. Like I'm starting to notice with these, I just have to wait for them drops. And if they do drop hard in something so volatile, that most likely it's going to bounce back, because this one should have curled right up. And it should have curled and been this. But no, it dropped off, then made it. And then same thing here. This thing dropped off, consolidated nicely, popped, then dropped back, then pop, then drop back, then pop, then drop, and now it's popping again. So, you know, it's just figuring out the actual pattern, sticking to one particular chart. Because typically with Nasdaq's, man, I might trade it and then the volatility messes me up psychologically to the point where I'm like, okay, fuck this stock, I'm gonna go move on to the next one. When the reality of it is, if I just stick to it for a few days and watch it, I will get that pattern down, just like I do with the OTCs. That's no different. That's the similarity I do with OTCs. And when I realize, you know, just do that with Nasdaq's, figure out the pattern of volatility, figure out the levels. You know, sometimes, you know, sometimes you got to go from 1 day, 1 minute to 5 day, 5 minute to 10 day, 30 minute to, you know, the 1 year, 1 day to 20 year, 1 day, and figure this shit out, man. Just study one particular chart pattern, man. And when it's moving and it's hot like this is, and we're seeing OTCs heat up, we have a 300% runner over here. I mean, we're seeing OTCs, we're seeing the Nasdaqs heat up. You know, you got to learn to adjust. And that's exactly what the lesson in May, my first red month, it was a lesson in adjustment. All my plays died off. There was nothing going on in the OTC market that I could capitalize on. Due to slippage, I kept taking L's when it should have been green, or I kept taking bigger losses than they should have been due to slippage, because there just were no buyers in the market and I was in too big. And that's another thing I learned to adjust to, was I just went in way too big trying new things. And it was a 20K lesson for the month. So basically 1 month of profit I gave back in another month. And that's perfectly okay, man, because I was on a massive streak. So that allowed me to go ahead and take profit and use that profit to figure out something new. And I'm finally getting the click of it on UONE. This is definitely still on my watch. I'm definitely going to trade this thing still. It's way overextended for me now, so I really want to see a heavy drop, maybe somewhere in the 15 and 14 range before I decide to pick up shares again. I honestly thought it was going to drop off right here, but it started catching that pickup again, man, because, I mean, look, I mean, it has the history of running to the 50s, and we're not even halfway to the 50s. Can it get there? Sure. Will it get there? Who the fuck knows? I don't, but I will sit patiently and wait for the dips. Because the old me would have bought it right here. If this was an OTC, I would have definitely bought it right here. But because it's a Nasdaq, I don't want to buy it right here because it could easily drop off just the same. Even though this looks like a steady gradual chart on the 1 minute, 1 day chart, when I'm looking at the 10 day, 30 minute, this thing is looking way overextended. So I want to see a heavy pullback to the 15 somewhere, or at least somewhere where I'm noticing some kind of base that's way off the highs, that I feel like I could go ahead and grab another $1 or $2 a share, which would be nice. So, you know, it's just a matter of readjusting. So for June, man, finally broke my red streak, man, which is awesome. You know, I went green the first week of June by, you know, not much, but again, just getting readjusted to the market, taking very, very small, you know, small baby steps. You know, lowered my share size compared to what I used to do, my position size. So, you know, made $756 to end my streak of red weeks, because we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red weeks in a row, which was, you know, compared to my green streak. I mean, look, 4, 8, you know, 12, you know, 15 green weeks in a row. I was bound to have some red happen, man. And that's trading for you, man. Like, I even have people that I know always ask me like, hey bro, I ain't seen you post no videos lately. I'm like, well, there really ain't nothing going on in the market for me to share my process. The only thing I've been doing is testing new strategies just to see if they would work. Just bouncing around, testing different little things. And that's something you have to do. You know, now I finally said, okay, I'm getting it, trade it very similar to OTCs, but my entry and exit points are different. So, you know, it's just sticking to one chart, focusing on one thing at a time. And UONE is that chart for right now. Until I feel like I can no longer capitalize on it, then I'll go ahead and move. But like all this right here, all this red was trading one thing, then another, then another, then another, then another. I mean, the majority of it was DSCR, which I tried to swing, and then that Elon Musk news came out, and it just fucking completely destroyed my position. But everything else is just testing. So even the red and greens, they're like very small wins and small losses. Just testing, man. So this was a month just for me to test to see, you know, if I could come up with something new. I finally started finding my rhythm. And it's good. I'm glad I got that month behind me. I'm starting off this month, you know, up over 2 grand profit for the month so far, which is nice, man. I think also psychologically I got so used to during that hot market where I was making $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a day, where it became like clockwork. That's what I kind of psychologically I was expecting that in May, and then it kind of destroyed me because there were plenty of positions where I was up, you know, $400, $500, $600 on the day, but I was holding it expecting it to go to 1,000 to 2,000, and then it would just drop off and I'd go red. And you know, it was frustrating, man. Psychologically, mentally, man, it was frustrating. And then not to mention dealing with personal issues outside of the market. It kind of like, I just wanted to take a break from making videos. I wanted to take a break from recording data. I wanted to take a break from, you know, I'm just, you know, I was over it at that point. And then slowly but surely, man, just creep back in and figure something out. So UONE is that one, you know, sticking to just one play and trading the hell out of it until it no longer suits me. But this is definitely still on my watch. I definitely plan on still trading this thing. It's overextended on this chart, so I want to see it drop back off to the 14-15 area before I would pick up any more shares. And if it continues to squeeze and goes higher, it gets parabolic in the, you know, in the 20s, then I want to see a drop off to the 16-17 area before I start to pick up some shares. Wherever I see it basing after a huge run and a huge drop, because you see it right here. Huge run, drops off. Huge run here, drops off. Now we're getting this huge overextended run. I'm expecting a drop off and picking up some shares at that point. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of my analysis. Again, if you made it this far, please click that like button. Please subscribe. You can't stop Mafia is a mindset movement, meaning never stop yourself, never stop your progress, never stop your education, especially in finance. Having multiple streams of income is an amazing thing, and the stock market is a place where you can do that. So June, starting off June beautifully, ended my red streak, thank goodness. A matter of adjustment, man. So Nasdaqs, we'll see how well Nasdaqs will treat me. I'm going to stick to UONE. Already made about $2,500 on it this month. And we'll see what happens for the days to come. So that's going to be it, guys. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.